my friends, my name is Lindsey. I run the blog Books for Christian Girls, and welcome back to the little corner of the internet where I talk mainly about Christian fiction. Today, it's Christian fiction and clean fiction because we are discussing my anticipated releases for June to December of 2025. It's already that time of the year. I'm technically a little early on filming this, but for scheduling reasons and other videos I want to get out, I'm filming this one a little early, and by doing that, I'm going to include 4 books that are releasing towards the end of June that I didn't know about back in January when I filmed from June to January's list. January to June's list, that is. So I'm really looking forward to all of these books. As a note though, I haven't read any of these books, obviously. So I don't know the content in them. This is not me recommending them. This is me saying these are like my most anticipated books. I cannot wait to read them. I'm really curious about them. I want to know more. Maybe be excited about these with me, and we will see what we find out about them. This is 31 books in this video though, which I think in my 8 years of booktube, 8.5 years of booktube, I think that's the most I have ever had, and I think that's absolutely crazy. So we're not going to go in depth and give synopsi over them because this video would be 2 hours long, and we're not going to do that. I'm going to tell y'all what intrigued me about the book, any tropes I know about it, just basically why did it catch my eye, and it could be as shallow as look at the beautiful cover. I will admit that. So let's get started. I have 2 books that are supposed to be releasing sometime this year that I don't know exactly when. So the very first book is the sequel to Leap Day in the Square by Erynn Mangum, which is going to be called Flag Day in the Square, and it's supposed to be released sometime this summer. I know for a fact that Flag Day is the day after this video is being posted, but I do not think it's being published then, even though I've been refreshing Amazon daily for the last week. I don't think it's going to be coming then. Leap Day in the Square came out about a little over a month after Leap Day, so I'm thinking maybe we'll get this one in, say, July, August? Perhaps, I don't know, but I'm very excited for it. This will be a Christian fiction, contemporary, rom-com book by one of my all-time favorite authors, so obviously I am very, very excited for it. Oh, as a note, I forgot to mention, I am going to try to remember to say if a book is Christian fiction or clean fiction, but I'm human, I forget. I have a lot of excitement in this video, and I just feel like I'm like running on a lot of caffeine or something, even though I am drinking herbal tea, so like that does nothing. But I'm going to try to remember to say if it is Christian fiction or clean fiction. Elsewise, I'm going to have it up there in the corner, and if I don't know, it's just going to be question marks because I don't know. So now let's continue on with this book. Okay, I sent out on Instagram last night for what books y'all were anticipating because I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any, and oh, I'm so glad I did that because one of you lovely, lovely viewers submitted this book, and I'm so glad you did. So glad because it is beautiful. When I tell you I gasped when I saw this cover. I did not know about this book at all. It looks like it was supposed to be released in March. It got delayed, so it's coming out sometime later this year. And okay, ready? The Size of a Mustard Seed by Melvis. Look at that cover. Look at it. Look at it. Oh my goodness, this is Christian cozy fantasy. I don't need to be told anymore anything else. Like, oh my goodness, look at how pretty it is. And then the back cover, it's so good. I cannot wait. The title alone just has me excited because, you know, that's a scripture reference and I love that. But then the back cover info just sounds so fascinating. And so the different tropes, we have amnesia, we've got a death apothecary, female main character, friends to lovers, which is one of my favorites, a cottagecore, grumpy sunshine. I am excited. I am so excited, but like this cover, it's stunning. It is stunning. I think I was in awe staring at this cover for 5 minutes because look at it. It is beautiful. The author described it on Instagram as a Christian cottagecore epic meets cozy fantasy debut novel with a death apothecary apprentice, an amnesic inventor, and a dying immortal tyrant queen. I'm sorry. Did we need to know anything else? I don't think so. I am so excited for this. Like, I cannot put into words how excited I am for this. Like, this just feels right up my alley. It's got a bunch of tropes I like, and then the cover is stunning. I'm ready. I am ready. Oh, it's so pretty. I don't want to move on because this cover is so stunning. Okay, so those are 2. I do not know when they are releasing, but for June, I have 4, and they are all clean fiction, I believe. So the first one is releasing on the 15th. It is not currently available for pre-order, but it will be available on Amazon the 15th, the author said on Instagram. And that is Austora, I think maybe is how we say it, by Micalah Reed. Okay, so this cover, it's giving Barbie, like early 2000s Barbie movies in the best possible way, and I'm excited for that. This is a clean YA romantasy that is non-magical, and it's the princess/guard trope, so like, you know, how do we say that? Princess guard trope? We always say grumpy sunshine trope. We don't pronounce the X or the slash, so I guess it's just princess guard trope. Strong sibling bonds and kingdom politics. I'm not sure if this is a standalone or not, but I'm just excited for it because, like, just look at the cover. It's pretty. It sounds like right up my alley. I love princessy themed books. And then it says, will she choose love over tradition? We will find out. I am very excited for this one. Another one releasing in June on the 27th is Moonflower by Anna Christine. I talked about this one in my summer TBR video because look how cool it is. Just the cover. Not only did the author obviously write the book, she also did the cover, like she illustrated it, and just the talent of that, the main girl's dress, it's so pretty. This is a short story, and I'm flabbergasted by the cover. I really am. Like, look how beautiful it is. It's so pretty. The flowers, the dress, she's holding a dagger. I am just so intrigued by this one. I already have it pre-ordered. It has to do with elves and feuding kingdoms and a marriage alliance, and I'm just excited for it. I am just so excited for it. Releasing the next day on June 28th, I'm going to be busy those last few days of June, is Snowbound by C.J. Brightley. This is a retelling of East of the Sun, West of the Moon. It says, ice goblin magic, an enchanted prince, and a peasant girl with nothing but courage and compassion. And I have read another book that I really, really liked by C.J. Brightley, which was The Silent Prince, which was a gender-swapped, reversed retelling of The Little Mermaid, and it was so amusing and so good. So I've been wanting to read more of her books, and this is going to be her newest release that I am just so excited for. I have had some really good retellings of this story, and I feel like she's going to do it really well, so I'm really looking forward to this one. It is a standalone, but it is part of the multi-authored series All That Glitters. On the 30th of June, we have Hood of Secrets by Emily Deady. This is book 5 and the final book of her Fairytale Royals series, and I have read books 1 through 3. I have not read book 4 yet, but I will obviously be reading book 4 before this book releases. This is obviously a retelling of Robin Hood, and this one has me so intrigued and interested because this whole series follows a royal family with, it's like pretty big, lots of siblings, and this is the oldest brother, the crown prince's story. And we've kind of been teased about his relationship and his romance for the books I've read, so I want to know his story. And we've seen glimpses of his girl or his former girl, I don't know. Something happened between the two of them, and I need to know what's going on. So that's the final book. It's releasing the 30th. You definitely have to read them in order though. So in July, I have 2 books releasing on the 1st, and one of them is Wendy's Ever After by Wright. This is a YA fantasy fairy tale kind of spin-off, Peter Pan. And I'm very intrigued by this one because I know this author as a clean Regency romance author, and so this is not that at all. So I'm very intrigued just by that alone, but it's about Wendy, and the little tag at the beginning of the blurb says, Wendy Darling embarks on a new journey where her past in Neverland collides with her future hopes for love, only to rediscover that the adventure never truly ended. Obviously, I'm intrigued by that. The cover is so pretty. I'm very intrigued. Let's read it. Also releasing on July 1st is Town of Shadows by Jessica Scarlett. This looks like it's book 1, so I'm scared it's going to end on the cliffhanger, but I'm still very intrigued by it. This says, in Victorian London, magic earns you a noose. Like, you know, hanging. And so, that sounds dangerous. That adds some suspense to it, but can we also just appreciate this cover real quick? Like, her hair, I want her hair. The earrings, the dress even, like, it's so pretty. I'm so excited for this. I've noticed that I really haven't read a lot of historical fantasy books, especially those that have magic content in them. I seem to shy away from ones that have to do with, like, actual events in history and, like, just having the differences be that there's, like, magic users and whatnot. I shy away from those. So the idea that this is just set in Victorian London and not necessarily anything actually, like, history-wise is happening has me much more intrigued about this book. It's going to be available on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm definitely going to be checking it out. The author on Instagram shared that there are tropes such as rivals to more, illusion, magic, hidden identities, whimsy, and puzzles, which, side note, I love the word whimsy. That makes me want to read a book so bad. Action with clever banter, bromance, and then also a male main character named Ashley. And then in parentheses she put, this is the most important one. Should have led with this one. And for some reason that just cracks me up. I am very looking forward to this one. I haven't read a lot of like gaslamp fantasy books, I think is kind of like the subgenre. So I'm very intrigued by it. I love the cover. I'm curious. So also in July, there are 3 of the last books in the All That Glitters multi-authored fairy tale retelling series that are coming out. And so the first one of the last 3 is releasing on the 5th, and that is Gilded Locks by Julene Johnson, I think is how we pronounce the author's name. This is actually a reimagining of Goldilocks and Robin Hood, which at first I was like, how is that going to work? But I have had time to think and stew on that combination, and I am very intrigued by it. And so, yes, just look at the cover. It's pretty. I know we're not supposed to judge books by the cover, but I'm intrigued just because of other things anyway, so it works. Releasing on the 12th is Lost Starlight by Kayla Eshbaugh, and I do know for a fact that this book is connected to her other fairy tale retelling series, and I'm not decided yet if I'll continue on with them because I think they might have a little more kissing than I personally care to read about, but I am intrigued by this one because it's a Peter Pan retelling. I know 2 Peter Pan retellings in 1 month. It's going to be crazy and just I'm going to need a box of tissues. But it's Wendy and Peter being a couple, and for some reason I have not read that, and I don't think there are enough of those out there. I'm very just curious about that. I think this cover is one of the prettiest in the series. It's just so pretty. So I'm undecided if I'll actually end up reading this one soon after the release day or right around the release day, because I've got to read the author's other books, and I don't know about that, but I might. I just don't know yet. The last book that is releasing in the All That Glitters multi-authored series is Diamond Wishes by Abigail Manning, which is releasing on July 19th. This is obviously an Aladdin retelling, and I am very intrigued by it because she is a jewel thief, and there is a wondrous wishing diamond she is trying to find. That's all I need to know. At the end of the blurb it says, wishes gone wrong in a power struggle between royals quickly traps Kyra, the main character, once again, but this time as a fake princess. Even a counterfeit diamond can sparkle, but can it fool a treasure hunter? Life as a royal sure does have a nice ring to it if you can live long enough to wish for a crown. I'm intrigued, obviously. That's just like, the cover's pretty for all of this series, but that just has me intrigued, and I love buried treasure and treasure hunting and all of that. Those are definitely buzzwords for me, and it's an Aladdin retelling, and I need to read more of those in my opinion, so looking forward to that one. Okay, oops, my last book for July actually released in 2024. It is not releasing coming up. It's releasing in 2024. So my bad, there's only 30 books on this list. Let's move on into August. Before we get into actual books coming out in August, I have 2 that I think will probably come out in August or September, just sometime in the fall, so we're going to talk about those first. So one of them is the final book in the Mysteries of Cobble Hill Farms series. This is a Christian fiction cozy mystery series I've been telling y'all about for the last few months, and I believe based off of like release days, I'm going to guess the last book of the series, book 18, is either going to be releasing at the end of July or sometime in August. Obviously, I'm not quite caught up. I just read book 10, but I will catch up and I will eventually read it, so I'm looking forward to it. Releasing sometime in the fall, I think. I backed the Kickstarter and I feel like I'll be getting my paperback copy in August, I think was the projected timeline. So I'm thinking maybe it's releasing sometime about there. Is going to be Rising from the Galaxy by E.A. Hendricks. This is a clean sci-fi trilogy, and this is the last book of the trilogy. Book 2 ended with something I'm very curious and excited about, because I was hoping it would go a certain way, and it looks like it is going that way. So I am definitely looking forward to this one, but it is a series you have to read in order. I'm not really a big sci-fi girly. I'm getting more into fantasy. I love my fairy tale retellings, but sci-fi is kind of still a hit or a miss with me. But but I've actually become very invested into this series, so I'm looking forward to finishing it. Releasing sometime in August, there is no official date yet that I could find, is Inheritance of Ink by Grace Soto. I have some of her other books, like her, I think it's a trilogy. I have those on my TBR and to get to this summer, but this one sounds really kind of right up my alley. It's light academia fantasy, a cozy mysteries, colleagues to lovers, and then there's going to be riddles and a chronic illness representation. So I'm very intrigued about this one, mainly just the academia fantasy vibe. Haven't read enough books with that, so I am very, very curious about this one. Releasing on August 1st is Composer Anonymous by C. Ash. This is going to be published by Glory Writers Press, which I've enjoyed quite a few books from them, so I'm very curious about this one. The author describes it as a unique blend of sci-fi and Victorian and a touch of fairy tale romance. If you love to listen to Lindsey Sterling music, Hans Zimmer, watch Cinderella, or read sci-fi books like Enchanted or a Victorian gem like A Lady's Guide to Marvels and Misadventures, then you will probably love my upcoming novel. And that's a blend. Like that's a mix of a lot of different things, but I am so intrigued by that. Like that has my curiosity just piqued. One blurb for the book says, "A musician without a future, a princess without a voice, and a society built on buried truth. Can two rebels rewrite the future before it silences them both?" I'm very curious. Releasing on August 5th is Jack and the Red Giant by Amanda Cleary Eastep. This is book 6 in the Tree Street Kids series, which is a Christian fiction middle grade series set in the 90s. And I have read books 1, 2, and 3 so far. I'll be reading book 4 soon, and then I need to catch up and read book 5 as well. But I am definitely looking forward to reading this one that has had such a nostalgic feel to the series, like just like riding your bike around the neighborhood and hanging out with your friends, and it's just been really fun, so I'm looking forward to continuing the series. Also releasing on August 5th is Final Approach by Lynette Eason. This is book 4 of 4 in the Lake City Heroes series, and I really liked the first book. 2 and 3 weren't my absolute favorites, but I enjoyed different aspects of them. But this one is following the main girl, who is an air marshal, and because of the teaser we got on the end of the 3rd book, as like, you know, a little preview for the next book in the series, yeah, I need answers because they are on a plane when it gets hijacked. Main guy is an FBI special agent. I need more suspense books in my life, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Also, can we just side note, this cover gives me chills. Like the first time I saw it, I got goosebumps. Like there's just something about it that's just like, wow, wow. Another book releasing on August 5th is A Tangle of Iron and Feathers by Sarah Baran. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year. Actually, I've been so excited for this one since December, when I read the first 3 books in the series and truly enjoyed them. They are fantasy fairy tale retellings that are mashups. So this one is a mashup between Mulan and the Goose Girl. And we met the main guy in this book in the 3rd book, and he was great. He was absolutely fantastic. I think I might actually reread that 3rd book before this one comes out, just because I enjoyed that 3rd book so much. A Bond of Ice and Sunshine. That one was so good. That was a King Thrushbeard and the Snow Queen retelling. Absolutely so good. So I cannot wait for this one because the humor, the mix of those 2 fairy tales, I am very excited. I am so excited for this one. A new book that has caught my eye is releasing on August 12th, and that is Riley and Sam. I'm going to have to ask, is it and or plus? How do we pronounce it? By Ashley Scholar. This is a Christian contemporary YA book, and it is supposed to be really good for fans of K-pop, K-dramas, and clean Christian books. So I am all 3 of those, really. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. Basically, Riley swears that she'll never fall in love with Sammy. After all, every girl on the earth already has. But when he shows up next door with a scandal on his heels, their childhood friendship is rekindled and she feels the pull towards something more. But, you know, he's got to leave soon and all of that. So I'm intrigued. I will admit it. I am very curious about this one. Okay. Another one that is one of my most anticipated releases for the year is going to be Legacy of Thorns by Melanie Sellier. Y'all have been hearing me talk about this series if you have been on my channel or watched any of my videos. And the last few months, I continuously talk about this series. This is Melanie Sellier, the queen of Fairytale Retellings. Her new series. This is book 3. And I am just so excited for this one because it is finally Daphne's story. And Daphne is the best friend of the main girl from book 1. She's the cousin from the girl in book 2. We are finally getting Daphne's story, and I cannot put into words how excited I am for this. Okay, so the cover's so pretty. I love the pink, like, oh, so pretty. But I'm just so excited because if you have not heard me talk about this series, this isn't technically a fairytale retelling series. It's kind of fairytale inspired, if you will. And so basically there are 6 kingdoms, and all of these kingdoms have what's called the legacy, or like the history, the origin of that country, which is connected to a fairy tale. So in this one, it's going to be Sleeping Beauty. In the first book, it was Beauty and the Beast. In the second book, it was Cinderella. And because of the legacy of that kingdom, is constantly trying to recreate all of those events from that original fairy tale. So like in the second book, there are mice as big as horses. There is amazing glasswork in that Cinderella kingdom. And the first book was Beauty and the Beast inspired, and the only flower that grows there is a rose. And like those are the very like nice innocent thoughts. But if you are, say, a servant girl kind of being mistreated, the legacy is going to put more of its focus and power on you to try to connect you to the crown prince, which is what happens for our girl in the second book. This one is Daphne, and Daphne has just been a brilliant character for the prior 2 books. I am so excited for this book to get her story. Sleeping Beauty is one of my all-time favorite fairy tales, so I'm definitely looking forward to this book. I will be reading it on the release day without a doubt. I have 2 books releasing in September, and the first one is releasing on the 1st, and that is Mistletoe and Mayhem by Janice Thompson. Janice Thompson is one of my all-time favorite authors, so obviously I am really looking forward to this one. This is book 3 in the Little Red Truck mystery series, and obviously, as you can tell, it is Christmas related, and there is obviously Mistletoe and Mayhem. I just have to side note how much I think that is just like a perfect title. There are fires happening, a wildfire with mysterious origin. Our main girl is trying to plan a wedding. There is just all kinds of different things happening, and I'm just really looking forward to it. It does look like this is the last book in the series, which is a bummer because I've been enjoying this series quite a bit. Releasing on the 2nd is kind of one of my wild card books, I guess you could say. Like, I'm not quite sure about it. I want to maybe read it, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I don't know. And that is The Rules of Falling for You by Molly Rushmeyer. I have read other books by this author that I enjoyed, and then I had one that was kind of a miss for me. So I'm not quite sure how this one's going to go, but it is the brother's best friend trope, and it is Regency-infused contemporary rom-com. I'm willing to try it. Our main girl is a podcaster, and her brother's best friend is like the producer of her podcast, and they go to a Regency-themed singles retreat. For some reason, I assume it's connected to the podcast. I have to just say, I think the cover is really cute. So I'm curious about this one. It looks like it's going to be quite different than her other books, because like the other books I've read by her have had more serious notes. So we'll see how this one goes. Releasing sometime in October, I believe on Kickstarter, is Flame Theory by CFE Black. This is clean fantasy, and I have to say, I'm kind of curious about this one. It's How to Train Your Dragon, but in a boarding school for the rich academy setting. And hi, I'm Lindsey, and I really like boarding school settings, so I'm gonna try it out. There's apparently dragon racing, but it's illegal. It's got the found family trope, rivals to lovers, dragon racing, YA fantasy, an academy setting, and fake dating. You put fake dating in a book, I become way more interested in it. So I want to check out this book. I think it's releasing on Kickstarter in October. So looking forward to that. Okay, so it looks like I had a date messed up, and one of the books I thought was releasing in October has either just changed in the last 12 hours to November, or I mistyped them. Not sure which one that is, so we'll talk about that here in a minute. But my other October book is releasing on the 21st, and that is Glass Across the Sea by Sarah Ella. I've enjoyed some books by this author, and some of them have not been my personal cup of tea, so I'm really curious to see where this one falls in the lineup. It looks like it is Cinderella inspired, and besides having an absolutely gorgeous cover, the main girl's best friend is also the prince. And I love that trope right there, so I am very curious about this one. Moving on into November, I have quite a few books, and one of them I don't have their date for yet, but that is going to be the 6th and final book in the Legends of Lenaria series by Micalah Bush. I just read the 5th book, and okay, yes, so I need the 6th book stat, please, thank you. Yes, I think there's going to be tears on my part, probably on the character's part, but definitely on my part. This is going to be the final book. This series is a great Christian fantasy series where good versus evil really is the main fight, and how the author has just set this world up to be so complex, and the battles and everything without being like overly gory or sad or anything like that. It's just so well done. I've really been enjoying this series. Book 1 is one I've talked about for years, and that's for years. I want to say for years. And that's The Lady of Lenaria, which is a absolutely fantastic Rapunzel retelling. Book 6 is just continuing it on. They are best read in order. I think you'd be very confused if you read them out of order. But Book 6 is releasing in November with a bind-up hardback edition of all 6 books in one. I'm so excited for that. She is currently doing a sign-up for the covers, so I don't have the covers to share, but I am very excited for them. I can't wait to read them. And I can't wait to have a bind-up of all of them together, because some of them are on the thicker, average side, but then some of them are on the thinner side. So having them all in one nice hardback bind-up edition makes me very excited as well. Releasing on November 5th, I do not have a cover for this one yet, but that is On the Edge of the Forgotten Sea by Alyssa J. I want to know how to pronounce this author's name. As a fellow Z last name girly, I need to know how to pronounce this author's name. I'm going to have to reach out and ask her because I want to make sure I say it right. And so, just like the little beginning blurb has me intrigued about this one. Cursed by love, doomed to never speak, cursed by memories, doomed to always forget. And based off of what I'm reading from the blurb, it's giving Little Mermaid. But then also, it's a YA portal fantasy, which is something I don't usually do. Portal fantasies and my brain just don't mix well, but I'm willing to try it, and it sounds like it's got Narnia vibes and then even ABC's Once Upon a Time, and that the main characters have to learn that even darkness must bend to the light. So I think this is more towards the clean fiction side, but I'm looking forward to reading this one. I haven't read any books by this author yet. I've been meaning to for, I would say, years, at least a couple of years. So hopefully I can read maybe some of her other ones, and then I'll anticipate this one even more. I guess we'll find out. Releasing on November 11th is Starlight, Starbright by Adeline Berlinstein, I think is how I pronounce this author's name. This is a cozy contemporary fairy tale, book 2 in the series. Even though it's kind of a prequel story in a way, the first book in the series was I Wish I May, which I've been talking to y'all about because I enjoyed that book so much when I read it back in May. I've talked about it in at least 4 videos already because I just enjoyed it so much. It was so good. It was a boarding school for godmothers in training. Very fun plotline. This is book 2 in the series, but it's actually about the main guy in that one, the Crown Prince, his parents, their story. And I'm very intrigued by that. I would suggest that if you haven't read the first book or you are currently reading the first book, don't read the back cover of this one yet. There are spoilers. So wait till after you read book 1 to read the back of this one. It is a retelling of Emma, which I'm admittedly not a big fan of, but then also Swan Lake, and I do like Swan Lake. So I'm very curious about this one. It's such a fun world and concept in this series because it's contemporary where like they have cell phones and all that kind of thing, but it's fantasy because like there's some magic and fairy godmothers and that kind of thing, so it's fun. I think if you like the Vivid series or the Color Theory trilogy by Ashley Bustamante, you might check out this series as well because they have that similar contemporary fantasy style, and I'm just really looking forward to this one, obviously. This is the book I thought was releasing in October, but now Amazon is saying November, and maybe I totally messed up my numbers when I was typing. It's possible. But that is Once Upon a Pumpkin by Gabrielle Landy, which is saying it's going to be released on November 12th. I have only read the first book in this series, but I actually did a thing I don't do, and I splurged big time and bought the deluxe hardback editions of this series, all 3 books plus the bonus like companion novella bind-up book from the author's Kickstarter. So they're actually on their way to me, and I'm going to have them early, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. This is a Cinderella retelling, and that's honestly all I need to know. I love a good Cinderella retelling. So I'm very much looking forward to this one and reading it. I will most likely be reading it before November because I can. But I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to read book 2 first. But yeah, just look how pretty this cover is. And it's Cinderella. Cozy, fantasy. I really liked the first one. It got a little kissy for my taste a couple of times, but I did think it was just such a charming fairy tale retelling. So definitely looking forward to this one. My last book for November that I know of is releasing on the 18th, and that is Sons of Night and Day by Mariposa. I don't want to say the author's name wrong, and I feel like I will. This one has me really curious, though, because it's like a Prince and the Pauper kind of retelling, if I remember right, based off of what I've heard on Instagram, I think. And so just the beginning part, it says, in the wild and lush kingdom of Twinsbane, everyone has a lookalike, and each twin is cursed to die when their double breathes their last. When an ancient plague arises, the kingdom's only hope is to sever these deadly ties. I don't know, this book seems like it might be a little outside of my comfort zone or my wheelhouse, but I'm willing to try it. It sounds interesting. I don't think I've really had another book that sounds like this book is going to be. So that one is releasing in November. My very last book is releasing on December 1st, and I'm sure there's going to be more books that come out in these later few months of the year, but I couldn't really find any information right now. I know with independently published books, usually the author shares about them not too many months in advance, so I'm sure there are going to be some towards the end of the year that I just don't know about yet, but I would be very excited for if I did know about them. But one book that is releasing that is completely different from everything else on this list, I think would be fair to say, is Dastardly Deeds Down on the Farm, which is a 4-novella collection about cozy mysteries that happened on a farm or farms. And I'm very curious about this one, mainly because Janice Thompson has a story in here, and I just want to read all of her books as always because she's one of my favorite authors. And so it's just 4 amateur sleuths muck and muddle their way through mysterious disappearances and deaths in the barnyard. I'm curious about it. I don't know. I'm always down for a cozy mystery. I'm not gonna kid y'all though, the cover of this gets me so tickled. Like, look at the cow and the horse and the pig and the chicken, and they're all just looking at the feet. And then you've got the rooster over here just, like, looking at us. I don't know. I think this is absolutely hilarious. This is just, like, the boy, look at the piggy. Look at the piggy. That's so cute. Okay, so yes, I'm looking forward to that one. That is the only one I currently have for December. Like I said, I'm sure there are going to be more towards the end of the year. I hope at least for, like, September, October, and December. I think I've got enough for all the other months. But for those months particularly, perhaps I will find more as the year progresses, but for now, I think 30 books is nothing to scoff at for the last half of this year, and I am super, super excited to get to as many of these as I can. I would love to know if any of these have caught your eye. Which ones have you added to your TBR? Are there any other ones that you're really looking forward to, especially if they are clean fairy tale retellings? Please share with a girl. I'd love to know. And I will try my very best to link not only the Amazon page for all of these books, but also the Goodreads landing page if I can. If those are not currently available as of when I upload this video, I will add the author's Instagram page because that's usually the next best place to find out about book releases, right? So I'll try to do that, and I would love to hear from y'all in the comments if any of these have caught your eye. Do you want to read any of these? Which book do you think is going to be the most up your alley? I am very excited for The Size of a Mustard Seed, and obviously Flag Day in the Square. And I'm excited for all of them, let's be honest, all of them. But, like, if I could snap my fingers, oh, let's do that. Okay, if I could snap my fingers and get 5 out of these 30. Okay, snap, snap, here we go. Flag Day in the Square, The Size of a Mustard Seed, A Tangle of Iron and Feathers, Legacy of Thorns, hands down Legacy of Thorns, and then, my last one, who do I pick? Because I just read the 5th book in the Legends of Lunaria series, I'm going to say book 6. That's going to be my 5th book. It's going to be that one. Yes. Yes. Okay, I'm happy with that. All right, snap, snap. Gibby. I'll take those, please. Okay, I want y'all to play that game if you want to play. I would love to know. If you could snap your fingers and get 5 of these right now, which 5 would you get? Or it could be like some of these and then some of the ones you're anticipating. That's fine too. Let's play a game. I want to play a game. I think it would be so fun. These look so good. I'm so excited for the rest of the year. It's kind of like gardening in a way, where like you look at anticipated releases and you just have excitement and hope for the future in kind of a cheesy, corny way. That's definitely how this feels. Like, I hope I have amazing success with all these. One of these will probably be a dud for me because that seems to be the case with every anticipated releases video I do. There is always one dud. One dud in every video. So I'm scared to know which one that's going to be in this list. For me, I hope there's none. There might not be any. I feel like this is a very precise list. I think I'm going to have really good success with these, but I guess we'll just have to wait and find out because I cannot actually snap my fingers and get copies of these books right now. So that's sad. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to let me know all of the details of your anticipated releases for the last half of 2025 in the comments. I'll have links to these in this description, and if you want to play the game, please feel free to play it. I would love to hear your answers. I am Lindsey from the blog booksforchristiangirls.blogspot.com, where there is a new review every Wednesday and Friday. I try to post a new video on this channel every Friday, and then I'm also on Instagram under Books for Christian Girls, where I talk about Christian fiction, and then I also have book reviews by Lindsey, which is my more personal Bookstagram account, where I talk about Christian fiction, clean fiction, all of my personal reading stuff. And then I'm also on TikTok, Goodreads, Facebook, and I think that's all the social media sites I'm on. We also have a newsletter for BFCG, and I will see y'all next time. I hope you have an absolutely lovely rest of your day. Bye!